What a beautiful group of people. I'm really excited about this. Excellent. When Anna gets out of work after a long day working as a manager at a coffee shop, all she wants to do is run home, pick up her two beautiful children, Zach and Zoe, give them a big hug, and then run to the park. Later, after the kids have gone to bed, she'll pull out her finances and with a heavy heart start looking for locations farther away from the good schools and safe neighborhood she calls home in order to find cheaper rent. But what if Anna didn't have to move far? What if she could find a smaller space that still feels comfortable so she could pay less in rent but not sacrifice the location and quality of life she and her children deserve? Introducing SpaceFlex, a lifestyle and space optimization company that believes where you live and how you live matters. SpaceFlex is a furniture company, and we are committed to helping you do more with less. Less space, less time, and much less money. We're built around multifunctional, affordable units that snap together easily into whatever function you want. These spaces have beveled surfaces that allow for interlocking structures that click and snap easily. These functions, there are hundreds of different possibilities, and as you can see, you can make a bed or a dresser or a desk with just a simple snapping and unsnapping of the top pieces. You can start with a giant tall bed, and from that big bed, you can integrate different shelving. Those pieces have shelves, drawers. You can even pop a bed down or a desk down and then clip it back away for saving space. You could start with a tall bed like this, and then when you move somewhere else, drop it down and use those extra pieces for maybe a dining room table. SpaceFlex utilizes a material called X-board. This material is high impact resistant and really lightweight, so it packs flat and ships really easily. This enables us to keep our prices low and affordable for our consumers who are especially conscious of their home budgets. Now, Anna could potentially spend an entire weekend scouring the big warehouse stores, dragging her two children. Maybe she'll end up with a desk, a bed, a giant dresser. She'll probably be spending about $600 to $800 at the register. And all the while, she's dreaming about high-end, custom-made furniture that would run her about 4 times as much. And when she gets these pieces home, she'll be spending hours and a great deal of fear having to bust out all those screws. Or she could plop the kids down in front of a show and pull out her phone and use SpaceFlex's mobile app that customizes and specializes specific furniture for her needs. SpaceFlex utilizes room scanning software that enables the app to recommend and consolidate multiple articulated needs into single multifunctional units. With this app, she not only saves space, she also saves time. And the best part, she's spending under $500 for 20 interlocking units that comprise her entire bed. When she gets that package, she pulls it open, unclasps, and snaps all of her furniture right as easy as that. 41 million households in the United States are spending between 30% and 80% of their monthly income on rent. This is considered a moderate to severe rent burden here in the US. And when we as a team got together and started thinking about how we could address the affordable housing crisis in urban centers, we realized it primarily comes down to an issue of supply and demand. Now, there was a moment of humility when we realized there's really not much we can do about supply with zoning and all sorts of regulations, nor is there much we can do about demand, seeing as the social and economic opportunities tend to cluster in these urban centers. So we took a step back. We looked at the issue from another angle and said, how can we make rent bearable? When talking to potential customers, stakeholders, and tenants, we found that people value space second only to location, and that's where we come in. With SpaceFlex, we can help you optimize your space because we truly believe you should never sacrifice feeling good about where you live. If you feel like you or someone you care about has ever made this sacrifice and you want to be part of the solution, please come find one of our team members and sign up for our mailing list. We'd love to keep you involved as we move forward with this. We just want to say thank you to Bruno and Nigel, and thank you for your time here. We're really excited to hearing some of your questions and moving forward and working with you potentially in the future. Thank you.
questions now?
If the team wants to come up, you're welcome to. If you guys want to come
Yeah, get up here, guys.
Yeah, I suggest the whole team.
The real deal. This is all of it.
All right. Nice job. That's really good. So could you tell us more about this X board, what the material is actually made of, and maybe talk about like the cost of that bed unit to actually produce it?
So I'm going to talk about the material. It's a sustainable fiber board, recyclable material. So it's made out of it's 100% upcycled. So it's used cardboard boxes. So it's 7 times lighter than MDF and twice as resistant. In terms of cost?
Yeah, so it's
Good
gonna.
mic back and forth would be great.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, so for one of the boxes, it's 128 square feet of the supply of the raw material, and then a bunch of other things here as well. Sorry, this is a little blurry, but this is kind of the breakdown of our variable costs and fixed costs, and it'll cost about $19.86 to create, and then we're going to be charging $24, and our break even is going to be just under 8,000 units. Yeah. Does that answer it enough for you, or do you want anything else? Okay.
I'm interested. People have habits and expectations in this country that may not always be in their best interests. And especially in matters of consumption, there's been quite a 200 or 300 year training program and wanting more and wanting bigger and so on. So I don't doubt that you can counter 20 or 200 years or so of habit and consumption and bigger things. But how do you get at that? How do you deal with a population that wants this and needs this, but may not be able to tolerate saying, I'll take less, or I'll, So what is the strategy for reaching the people and getting them attuned to their own best interests, which may be very different from what they aspire to?
So one thing that we found really important was understanding the reality of our consumer right now, which is that they didn't want to take the spaces they're in. It was not anyone's first choice. It's the situation that they're presented with. They're doing the most with what they can. So what we're offering is a way to not sacrifice too much when you've already sacrificed so much just to be where you want to be, and now you're living in, a half bedroom in somebody else's loft. So what our product does is it addresses that this isn't what you planned for, and you don't have to sacrifice everything. You can still have a closet. It might be under your bed. You can still have a dresser. You can still have a desk. You can have a dining room table and a pantry. You can have it all. It's not going to be what the first plan was, but it's going to meet the need that you found yourself with now, and it's not going to ask you to sacrifice anything else along the way.
That is a great presentation. I like the story at the beginning. I also will say, and everybody else, I love it that you bring your whole team up. I'm just never going to assume that one person knows everything. And so it's good to hear from everybody. I mean, 6 minds are better than one. My first question is, where do they make this material? Is it one place, or are there multiple locations that make it?
So we found that the material is, the company that produces this kind of material is in South Africa. So one way of minimizing shipping all over the world was to get the manufacturing to be in South Africa as well. This way we would also provide jobs in a developing country, and then we would ship those collapsible boxes to the US.
How far does shipping cost cut into margins of furniture? Just general shipping, like how much does this actually save on the bottom line?
We use a 13% margin in there of the rest of the variable costs.
For shipping?
For freight. And
Okay.
yeah, about.
That's what you guys use, or that's what the normal is?
Industry standards, and
And where are you guys there with this? Like how much less does it cost to ship a bed?
that's a great question.
Yeah. No, just as a point of reference, if that's really a selling point on cost, then that's a good thing to know. One last question is, do you have any statistics on how much space it saves? Because you're saying it saves space, but just like looking at it, I get it, but I don't get it. Like if I'm going to buy a certain number of units, how much extra floor space am I going to have?
I would say that if you go to a big box store, you are going to end up for a bedroom. getting a bed and getting a wardrobe and getting a nightstand, and they occupy floor space. So our concept is like getting all those functions and putting together. So in the bedroom space, the idea is below the bed, the footprint of the bed, we are putting everything in the same.
Gotcha. Maybe just a graphic for that, because I get it, but it'd be good to see it. But I think this is great.
She's going to fall off that bed. I mean, there's how wonderful to, but okay.
I'm glad you brought that up, Patty, because that was actually my point. At one point, we were going through a bunch of iterations of this product, and I said, man, that bed is just too tall. I am not going to be able to get in that, especially after a good night, you know? And Sean replied, hey, wouldn't that be cool if you could customize your furniture and make that bed a little lower just to meet your needs?
Or a rail. I don't know if, I mean, it's a possibility. So, but that might, actually the rail would not have any other utility, so that would be a, well, okay, let it go.